Methinks that Cyndi Lauper said it best. Girls just wanna have fun. Okay, she definitely sang that way better than me. And then we got all serious, sister. We started becoming the high achieving women that had head down, bottom up, and going for it, as though our lives depended on it, because it did. But what is fun all about? And why is it that some of us are having a great time in all aspects of life, while others are stuck in struggle? And more importantly, why am I saying that your fun is an indication of your power? Let's have that conversation. Hey, my name is Alnash, and if we've not met before, I work alongside ambitious, driven women who are ready to have a life that is as rich on the inside as what she is successful on the outside. If that is you and we've not had a conversation before, click on the link below and let's set it up. I have always been a driven woman. I have always been the woman who set really, really big goals and who crushed them in next to no time. Yet there was always a distinction for me between the experiences in which I had fun and the experiences which I was really focused in and very much determined to get to the finish line. Perfect example, Ironman. My very first Ironman experience, I did in 4 months. Now, that in and of itself doesn't sound too magical or too exceptional, but it was 4 months with me needing a hip operation. It was 4 months in me needing to learn how to swim because I was terrified of the water. I never learned to swim properly. So literally watching YouTube videos and then teaching myself to swim. 4 months, no coach would touch me because they said it wasn't possible. But there was this belief in myself that I was born to be an Ironman. And literally the only reason I entered was because of that. Oh, I was born to be an Ironman. Have to do this because it's just who I was born to be. And so I got to the start line and I smiled all day for 15 hours. For 15 hours, I was just in this childlike state of play. You see, nobody expected me to get to the finish line. In my logical mind, I didn't expect me to get to the finish line either. In my logical mind, in my masculine mind, it didn't make sense for me to get to the finish line. But in my feminine realm of all is possible and the embodiment, the identity piece, of course, I was going to cross the finish line. So I didn't have a time that I was chasing. I didn't have any expectation of how the race was going to go. In fact, if I had to listen to everybody else, I would have been beyond terrified. But instead, I was just having fun. I was just having fun. I was just having the best time. And in a blink of an eye, I crossed the finish line. It was a little surreal. So the next year, I entered again, but this time I had something to prove. This time I had to better my time. This time I had to train really, really hard for a whole year. This time I had to take it all so serious. Working with a tri coach and getting all the right stuff, and it was hard. I got to the finish line. I didn't take much time off my first race, but it was hard and it was a painful experience. Looking back at my life, I've come to realize that anything that I went into with a determined mindset, anything that I went into with a this is going to prove something about me mindset, ended up being really hard as an experience. There was a lot of discipline required. There was a lot of motivation required. There was a lot of challenge required. There was a lot of effort required, because it's when we start playing in the masculine fear realm that all of these characteristics come to the forefront. But every time that I was just at ease, every time that I was playful, every time that I was in a state of fun, life just magically unfolded. You see, the feminine really does have fun. The feminine is very flirtatious and lighthearted. It's why it's so hard for high achievers to ascend into the artist, because the high achiever is super serious. It's all about how we are being perceived, and am I good enough, and I need to do this more and harder, and the opposite archetype is the artist, and the artist is lighthearted and playful and experiment a lot and is unattached to the outcome. There's no sense of survival based on the outcome. And so the artist herself is just operating in a sense of freedom and pleasure and fun. And her results, her outcome, tend to be miraculous. It is the stuff that happens in a way that cannot be explained that is the realm of the artist, the fun. I always say to my clients that you cannot be on the train of pain and think that you're going to end up at the destination of pleasure, because your experience is that of pain. So that is the only thing that you can have. Even if you achieve your goals and have a momentary lapse of pain for pleasure, you will tend to create the next painful experience for yourself. Whereas if you choose the train of pleasure, you're in no rush to get to the destination, because the journey itself is so much fun. The journey itself, every single day, is the experience that you wanted to have. You see, every goal that you set is because you think it's going to have you feel happier or even happier. It's the only reason that you set a goal. And so we have been taught and conditioned to endure a lot of pain with the promise of pleasure and happiness. But that is a lie. So my question to you today is, what in your life have you made painful because you think that the pain will eventually pay off and you will experience pleasure? And where can you bring more fun into the current experience? How can you make it more pleasurable so that eventually it doesn't matter whether you achieve the goal or not, because you were just having so much fun on the way? How can you do that for yourself? I will say a little part of it is to start identifying what is actually fun for you to do, and to bring more of that into your every single day instead of just when you're on holiday. Now, if you are ready for a journey of pleasure, then I invite you to have a look at Women Reimagined. I always find it fascinating when women start this journey and I ask them what are they expecting, and they're expecting pain and hardship and tears. And I'm like, why? Why? Let's have fun. Let's have pleasure. Let's have shenanigans. And that is how these ladies remember who they truly are and reclaim themselves so much faster than in any other program. Because we don't believe in pain for gain. We believe in pleasure and fun for enhancement. And that releases the resistance, and that makes everything so much easier. So if that is of interest to you, have a look in the description. There's a link. If you're lucky, the enrollment is open at the moment. We run this program 3 times a year. And if the enrollment is not open when you are watching this, just get onto the waiting list. The groups are small, so you want to get your name in there, and let's create more fun for you. After all, you are the artist and the art. Let's start making your life experience your pleasurable masterpiece.